I was completely nude.
Today, Ryan Eggold is here. He plays Farber Kaufman on the FX show Dirt. You can also see him on Entourage and HBO. Great to have you here today.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
So, you know, there is so much craziness in the news these days about celebrities. I think it makes sense that somebody finally is doing a TV show about this.
Sure.
So, you play a reporter who is getting the dirt on the celebrities, is that it?
Yeah. Farber Kaufman is a new reporter, and he went to Harvard for undergrad and Columbia for grad school, so he takes himself very seriously in his journalistic endeavors. And then he's trying to get a story from Courtney's character, Lucy, who's the editor of the tabloid, and for an LA Weekly piece, for a real substance, piece. And she smells him a mile away, and she actually thinks he's a good reporter, and so she ends up hiring him.
She lures him into the world of tabloid
She
journalism.
lures him in with the money, yeah.
Right there in the dirt.
He's broke. Integrity or money is the question.
So what is it like for you as an actor playing a part in this? Because on the one hand, as a celebrity yourself on the path to fame and fortune, but yet, doing a show about all the crazy things that people in this town do, has it given you food for thought about, as a person? I mean, do you think, oh, I better not do that, or better not do this?
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, and I'm certainly not a celebrity. I'm getting my foot in the door with some sort of acting career, hopefully. And but it is interesting. I have had my first experiences with that sort of thing, with whether it be paparazzi or anything like that. And it is very interesting. I remember one time I went to a rap party for Entourage after I did a few episodes, and it was it was like this beach house. I was like so excited. I was like, this is so cool. I'm hanging out with these guys. I walk up, and I'd never seen paparazzis before in my life, and 20 of them start chasing me with cameras and and I'm like, why is this happening? This doesn't make any sense. And
you went Brittany on them.
Yeah, exactly. And Kevin Connolly is right behind me, and they're like, get out of the way, kid. So it was.
So you thought that was your moment there?
Yeah, I was like, what? Why? Yeah.
But we got TMZ out front today. So
okay, great. I'll be sure to say hello.
But it's interesting because it kind of takes you inside to the whole world of, well, I say TMZ, but that kind of the relationship between the journalists and the reporters, and kind of what happens behind the scenes, and some of the deal making even, or.
Yeah, sure. You realize what how artificial it is, really, how crafted it is, and I mean, you pick up one of the tabloid magazines and you take it for truth. I mean, not everybody does, but you start to realize how formulated it is, how this person wants this story in there for whatever reason.
Publicist, sometimes, I've heard when I had paparazzi on the show before, they were saying that the publicist would say, well, if you want to get some great photos of so-and-so on a date with so-and-so, they'll be here at this time.
They'll be here at this time, right.
Or they would stage photos to make it look like they caught them in the bushes or something, but they were,
and when there's these sex videos or whatever that make their way out there, everyone thinks it's, they act so shocked, but a lot times
it's funny you mention that, because we have
my sex tape?
We found some tape.
Don't show that. It's just too crass. Yeah.
But I say that jokingly, but so many people these days, I mean, as an actor and somebody who's interested in the business and on the path yourself, so many of the young people seem to be self-destructing.
Sure.
What do you think of that as an actor? I mean, I think so many people, want to be in Hollywood or a TV star, movie star, and break into the business.
Right.
But then when they do,
That, I think, is where you get into trouble, because when people come here to be a movie star or to be famous or to be any of that stuff, which a lot of people do, just sort of want that lifestyle, and acting is simply a path to get to that, or music or whatever it is, your priorities are out of whack. So then you want that lifestyle. You think it's drugs and it's sex and whatever it is, and then so that's your goal. Whereas hopefully if you're grounded, your goal as an actor can be to do good work, and stuff like that, and sort of leave that.
You sound a lot like, I'll put in a plug here for Joanne Barron, the acting coach, has a school in Santa Monica, and I've interviewed her before. And she's invited me to some of her master classes, and she always gets upset at the students who are there to be the movie stars.
Right.
She's there for the actors and the people who are, and so I think there's some truth to that. The people who are doing, when you say love what you do, but they're interested in acting as a career, not just for the side benefits that come with it.
Sure, and the 90% of actors aren't famous. You got 10% that are that are famous and out there, but then you have all these actors that are working all the time, that are making a living, but aren't movie stars or TV stars or whatever. You know, they're just working as an actor. And I mean, maybe.
But I guess the ones who hit it big seem to be worse behaved.
I think the worst behaved are in the spotlight the most, because that's the most entertaining, and that's what's going to sell. The people who are famous and just going about their lives and just living totally normal lives aren't going to make it into those papers, because we don't want to read that. We want to read about someone puking behind a bar or whatever it is. Yeah.
So you have wanted to be an actor yourself since you were a little kid?
Like 13, I think, is when I found a love for it, yeah.
And you grew up here in LA and...
In Long Beach, sort of.
And so you were sort of always, you know, people move here from out of town, but I guess if you grew up here in LA, you're just exposed to that. I mean, is it kind of a natural thing to get
A little
into,
bit. I'm glad that I didn't grow up in Los Angeles, and only an hour away, but enough away to have a perspective of Hollywood and Los Angeles, because I think growing up here is interesting. It's hard to appreciate or see Hollywood for what it is, because it's a different city, and it was nice to grow up somewhere less crazy, I guess.
Yeah. Where the people, well, I think, you know, they always say that, like, people who come from the Midwest or something, or they can tell the people who are from California and who aren't, because you know, if the people are more mellow or different, or if you say normal, grounded, whatever,
whatever it is.
Versus, But so do you think there's some truth to that, though, that in LA there is a little more, I don't want to say if it's artificial or or everybody has an agenda, or you know.
It is. It's a weird town, because there's a lot of actors in New York too, and that's a completely different city with a whole different vibe. And Los Angeles, there are a lot of people coming to be famous, you know, and that's the goal, or to live some sort of Hollywood lifestyle or whatever that is.
So is that you, or are you going out to all the wild parties? Look, you're on Dirt. I got to ask you these questions.
That's all I do. That's all I do.
Wild partying every night
and partying. Yeah, I'm drunk right now.
Drunk, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw the character, the scene with your character on the drugs in the bathroom. So
yes.
You just carry that over from the set.
Yes, exactly. I had to go very method for that, and had to actually
a lot of homework
do lots of
research.
drugs. Yeah. No.
Did you actually do any research as a journalist? Did you ever have any interest in
a
that?
little bit, yeah. A friend of mine works at a magazine, and I just asked her a bunch of questions. What do you do? What's your daily life? Well, I mean, what are you doing with your job? How do you interview somebody? And you know, what do you write down? What's important? I mean, just some questions. I spent only a few days. It wasn't like a massive endeavor, but I certainly went. And Courtney's character on the show calls me Bob Woodward at one point, which was a journalist who, you know, was covering Watergate and stuff. And so I looked him up and sort of read about him and what he did, and so it took sort of journalists that are admired and kind of see how they did it and stuff.
Wonder what he would have to think about Hollywood these days.
Oh boy, he'd have a story to tell.
I guess between the politicians and the actors, it'll keep all the...
Yeah, which are now becoming the same thing. The politician actors, Schwarzenegger, and I heard Ben Affleck's maybe running or something.
Seriously?
I heard that. I have no idea if that's true. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know for what. But.
And then I guess you get the double whammy, because the politicians always have to worry about the dirt they're going to dig up, but the actors are used to it anyway. Maybe it's easier for the actors to run for office because they've already found everything out about it.
Right, yeah, exactly. They've already gotten all the bad stories out of the way. What else have they got to lose?
So you joined the show. This is the second season.
Yeah.
And your character joined the season. How did the strike interfere, though?
It was not good for us or anybody. It cut our season in half. I think we were going to do 14 episodes, 14-hour-long episodes, and then we ended up doing 7 because we ran out of scripts. We had 7 episodes written, and then the strike happened, and they weren't writing any more scripts. And then at some point, several months went by, and then it was sort of too late to go back and try and finish the season with the budget and the schedule that FX is on and all that kind of stuff. So it's a shame, yeah. So it's only a half season, but we'll see. If we go again for season 3, we'll pick up right where the story left off. So
we will be right back with Ryan Eggold. And we are back with Ryan Eggold today, talking about Dirt, and I'm telling you that's what we're going for here. So what is it like working with Courtney Cox? She's your main star on the show.
Yes, and boss.
Boss.
She's great. Yeah.
Is she a producer on the show too?
Yeah, executive producer and obviously the star of it. And she's involved with everything. I mean,
Is she a good boss?
She's a great boss. Yeah, I don't know how she does it because she has 100 things on her plate at once, and she's worrying about what costume this character's wearing and what kind of scene this should be in this, 3 episodes.
So
down
she
the
really
line,
is executive producing.
She's all over the place. Yeah, she actually does her job. She's very good at it. Yeah, I don't know what I expected, but definitely something different than who she is. I just thought maybe after so many years of Friends and being such a starlet that she might be, I don't know,
diva or something, or
yeah,
hard to
some
work
kind
with.
of diva. Now she has her own show, and so I thought, oh, she's going to be sort of This Is My Show. She's very cool, very down to earth, and very funny.
Did you watch her on Friends?
I did. I was a huge fan of Friends, like everybody, right? Who didn't watch Friends?
So was that kind of fun to go from watching her on TV to be working with her?
It was weird though, because I had auditioned and called back and done all these things, and then I didn't hear anything for weeks, and so I figured they got somebody else. And then the night before, they're like, "Hey, you start tomorrow on Dirt," and so I just show up, and I'm doing a scene with Courtney, and there was no transition time of going from fan to working with her. So it was a very weird first couple of days. And I remember a week went by, and she's like, I can't believe you weren't nervous coming on this show, and da-da-da. And I was like, I was terrified. But apparently they didn't.
You just had a cool, calm
They didn't
demeanor,
see, yeah, I guess I faked it pretty well.
Now you have, when I watched this, I downloaded it from iTunes, and I watched the second season. We were saying beforehand, you had kind of like the Clark Kent thing going on with the glasses. And do you really wear glasses, or?
You know what, I did for the longest time, and then I ended up getting LASIK eye surgery.
Oh,
yeah.
I had LASIK too.
Did you?
Did yours go well?
It's great, yeah. It takes like 5 seconds, and it's like, when suddenly you can see it.
Are you still trying to take the contacts out? Or?
Yeah, exactly. But that's one of the reasons I did it. I hate contacts. I never wore them. Couldn't do it.
No complications or anything?
No complications. I'm a big fan of LASIK.
So what about the rest of the cast? Who are some of the other people that you work with on it?
It's a great cast. It's a really great family to be a part of. Ian Hart plays Don Conkey, the paparazzi, and he is a fantastic actor. I was totally intimidated to work with him too, just because I think he's super talented. And he's English, which not a lot of people know because he plays American on the show. And so I didn't know that and learned that about him. And Alex Breckenridge plays my romantic interest on the show, which was a lot of fun. We had
I saw some of those scenes, by the way. Now, you started out as kind of a goody two-shoes.
Yes.
And then, as I said it earlier, that I saw the scene toward the end where you're in the bathroom doing something with, drugs.
Right.
And having the party. And then I saw the scene with you, was it in the car or in the house, where that was you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was some groping going on.
Oh yeah, quite a bit of groping. Towards the end, it was getting more and more salacious. Physical. Yes. Which was fun. If you're going to do that kind of scene with anybody, it's fun to do it with her because she's.
And I have to ask you that. Look, it's a show called Dirt, so I got to ask you.
Of course.
People want to know, as an actor, like, let's kiss somebody. But the cable shows in particular these days, even more so than the networks, tend to go for. I don't think I was looking through the episodes, fast forwarding some of them because I couldn't watch them all that fast before the show. But I didn't see any nudity, I don't think. But you know how some of the cable shows are.
You missed the nudity.
I missed the nudity.
There's some nudity.
I've got to go back and watch it for the.
Please, please don't. No, I'm kidding.
So okay.
No, feel free. You know what? The 7th episode, which was just aired Sunday, I was completely nude, with a small piece of cloth in a certain area.
Now I don't know if you're serious or messing with me.
I'm dead serious, and it was. Well,
that's what I'm wondering, because, and again, like with some of it, even when you're faking it, I mean, if you're grabbing somebody and stuff, I mean, you're really grabbing them.
Sure.
I'm assuming. So, is it just kind of weird to do, or fun, or I don't know, what is it like to do?
For the first few minutes, it's weird and awkward because you're being intimate with someone that you're not really intimate with, so it feels artificial at first. But you try and get into character, and eventually you get past that, and then you start. I mean, if you can both laugh at it, you're fine, because you realize you're doing a job, and this is awkward. You both acknowledge it, and then you just have fun.
And you got to do the scene over and over again until.
And then you do it a bunch of times, and so by the end of the scene, you don't care. You'll I'll grab anybody's anything. It doesn't matter.
And what do you think about that personally? Does it bother you? I mean, do you think that's just where TV is these days? Or?
That there's sexuality on television?
Yeah. Well, or is it too far compared with I've looked back at some of the stuff where you could hardly the networks used to have, really heavy censorship for everything, and those days are certainly gone. Where I don't know what you can't do on TV these days.
Right. Yeah. After 10 o'clock, you can say like almost anything. Like you can drop the F-bomb or like anything. It's nudity.
And you're on at 10, right?
And we start at 10. Yeah. But we usually don't. We're not that bad.
But what do you think? I mean, is it that just reflecting life, or is it too far, or not enough?
I don't think it's too far as long as it serves the story in some way. You know what I mean? As long as it's not overly gratuitous. And the fact of the matter is that, as it always has, sex sells. And it grabs people's attention. But as long as it comes out of some sort of relationship and it serves whatever's happening in the show, yeah, it's good. I mean, when there's just useless like butt shots and sex and whatever, that's not necessary.
But so your character is evolving though, like I say, it's going from kind of the goody two shoes into more drugs and sex and I don't know what all.
yeah, I'm very excited to see where he goes, because they always had in mind that he comes to Dirt, this fresh, wide-eyed, reporter with his journalistic integrity intact, and then he is put through this machine in Los Angeles and the tabloid world and celebrities and all of it, and then suddenly he's, who is he?
Swallowed up by Hollywood.
Swallowed up, yeah, exactly.
So what about Entourage? I know you're doing some recurring stuff for them.
Yeah, I'm playing a small role. I play an actor on Johnny Drama's pilot on the show. Drama's show on the show.
Show within a show.
Yes, exactly. And it's fun. I was a fan. I mean, I still am a fan. I don't watch as much TV these days, but I was watching like first and second season like crazy, and that's when I first went on it. And so it was awesome because I was like watching it all the time, and I was a huge fan, and then I got to go on it, and it was like such a weird experience to be on the show that you love so much.
And I guess in some ways it could maybe lead to a bigger thing. I mean, is that pretty much what happened to on Dirt, was that you started out with smaller and then they kind of liked you and kept bringing you back? Or?
Dirt, they were looking to cast a new reporter,
okay, so
a new series regular, yeah. Okay. So that was different. But Entourage was that, in that they hired me for one episode, and then they ended up bringing me back, and then now there's a few more episodes, and so they'll hopefully keep writing more.
But you're still not completely sure yet if there is a season 3 for Dirt, or
not completely sure. We've heard both things.
Because some shows did get the axe after the strike.
The strike hurt a lot of shows. Like I said, including our show, and so it's possible that it could go down as a result of that. But we'll see. I know FX likes the show, and I know it did pretty well, and I know it does really well foreign as well. So we'll see. We're all hopeful. We get to keep doing it.
Now, even though you graduated from college, like a year or two ago?
06, yeah, May 06.
Okay, and you've already done these. You were also on the Young and the Restless.
Yeah. That oh no, I can't remember her name. The sweetest lady came to. We had a showcase at USC when at the end of our senior year, where we all do scenes for casting directors, agents, blah blah blah, and you hopefully get an agent out of that and everything. And I did this scene, and this woman was so in love with my scene and so sweet and supportive, and she runs casting at Young and the Restless, so she gave me some episodes, and yeah.
So right out of the gate you were doing stuff, or even really before.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just curious though, because some people see soaps as a launching pad to other things, and others, are scared they're going to get typecast or something. Did you have any concerns at the time about?
I did. You can certainly, if you want to be on a soap opera, it's a great job. So if you want to do it, more power to you, because it's awesome. But if you want to do other things, it's easy to get stuck there. And they were going to offer me a larger contract for a big role on that show, and I didn't really want to do that because I wasn't in love with the idea of spending 4 or 5 years on a show like that myself. So I didn't do it. So I only did a few episodes, which was great because I got a little bit of experience, and
Well, and it worked out. I mean, you went on to other things.
And luckily, yeah, I've got another job, so hopefully I continue to.
We'll be right back with Ryan Eggold. And we are back with Ryan Eggold today, getting the dirt. Okay, so now in college you studied acting, right? You were in the theater program at USC?
Theater major, yeah.
And do you continue to take classes and all that kind of stuff?
I don't now, only because I just graduated and I'm, truth be told, really sick of acting class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what didn't you like about acting class?
It's just, it depends. Some teachers, I really love teachers that see whatever you've got going on and try and take that and cultivate that and let that come out, as opposed to tell you this is the way to do it. Do it my way. However you're doing it is wrong. This is the right way. Because that's not good. And acting is such a subjective, you know, like any art form, it's so subjective. It's
And you do get people with strong opinions.
Sure.
They'll just say, oh, you suck, you're awful, that's, you know.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. And that's the other thing, is that there's some teachers that bring you down like that and just kind of chip away at your confidence, which is...
Some of the really famous ones, you know, you hear stories about, was it Messner and
Stanislavski and
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys.
they were really hardcore.
Some of those guys were, I mean, like at Juilliard, I know they have a very intense program, great program, some great people have come out of there. I think this is true, a friend of mine went there. At the end of the year, you stand in the middle of your teachers getting a circle and just throw, like, you sucked at this isn't good, you're not good at this, and it's just like, they just bombard you. That's like part of the thing, because they want to break down.
But isn't that a little bit negative? I don't know, I mean...
To me, it seems that way.
But now, did you just study, I don't want to say just, but did you just take the classes at USC, or did you take private classes, or...?
Well, you know, I think where I really got any sort of training or anything, I'm of the mind that acting is mostly intuitive, you know? It's like however you want to approach it. I like the idea of that for anything, music or whatever, but I started taking classes at a community college when I was like 13, 14 on a whim, and it was just fun at that point. You know what I mean? That was it, and that's what I fell in love with. It was just a really good time. And
well, in that way, the reason I was asking that is just that I feel like my theory is, at least with acting and music, that sort of thing, that you can kind of, if you study with more than one person, then you can kind of maybe take the best from each person, even if you don't 100%, you know, in the end, and you may not take all of it, but you take part of it. Or,
sure, yeah, take a little bit from this and a little bit from that, and then, you know, throw it together, and that's how you do your thing, you know.
So you mentioned music. You also had your band for a bit?
Yeah, had a band, Eleanor Avenue, that's kind of not really together now, only because we're mostly actors, and I would go work on Dirt, and our drummer would go shoot a movie somewhere or something, you know, and it's really hard. But I'm definitely still playing music, and that's a great outlet if you ever get tired of doing one thing, to go, you know, write a song and,
sure,
you know, so.
And what's your ultimate goal with acting? Is it like most people, you know, breaking into the movies and that sort of thing, or do you have any specific plan or 5-year plan for what you want to?
You know, one thing I would love to do is I love writing, and it's not that I love being in control, but I love making my own sort of vision. I would love to write a film and direct it. And
well, indeed, you're working on what, Lunchers, right?
And so, yeah, a friend of mine and I wrote a film called Lunchers, which, as I was saying to you earlier, is just about these two losers who eat lunch together and you know, fall in love with the same waitress, and it's a very silly comedy. But we may direct that this summer, and that would be my first attempt at that, so hopefully it doesn't fail miserably. And
get it on the festival circuit, or?
Yeah, you know, just really low budget, put it out in festivals, just make a movie, make mistakes, learn. And
so I'm just curious, when you're not acting, and I'm sure you have long hours on the set and all that, but what do you like to do in your free time? Do you ever just go out and have fun? And we can tell, okay, the wild parties we already talked about.
Yes, wild parties day and night. Yeah. In fact, I got to get to a party.
I'm sorry, are we holding you up here?
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Places to go, people to see.
Gosh, I like to, like I said, I'm kind of a dork because I just love to write. I wrote a play or things like that. I love to write things like that, and I love to play music and stuff. And I mean, just fun. Mostly, I like just sitting around with friends and you know, BSing, hanging out.
Do anything with the outdoors, like, you know?
Sure.
Running,
I've been
hiking,
trying
biking.
to get my friends to go camping forever, because I think it would be so fun if we all just go out in the woods and hang out for a weekend, you know, because that's great. And me and my dad go fishing from time to time, which is a great, you know, father-son fishing trip is always a good time. So yeah, but you know, mostly just hanging out. I'm appreciative of any free time, because lately it's in spring, it's auditions like crazy.
So even now you're out going to the auditions?
Yeah, it gets pretty busy with those. So.
And what are the hours like on the set? How long are you taking?
It depends. If you're working all day, I mean, like Courtney's pulling like at least 14-hour days, which like you're in your call just keeps getting pushed later and later, and so you have these long days, and then you're just dead on the weekend. But like my character is in this scene, and then I'm done, and then I'm in this scene, so I would have more sporadic hours, like maybe 8-hour day or something. 8 hours. So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for being here today, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Greg.
Ryan Eggold, you can see him on the FX show Dirt and Entourage on HBO. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.